Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for my most annoyed player ratings I think we've done so far on this channel. As Chelsea lost 1-0 to Arsenal at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea literally, we went to the shops, we bought gift wrapping, we bought sellotape, we bought fancy scissors, so you can make like the little thing you wrap around it in the end to make it like curly and that. We went to the shops before the game, bought all of that, came to Stamford Bridge, and Kai Havertz was feeling like Santa Claus. Instead of scoring goals, winning games for us. No, he tries to be worse than Morata and Torres in one. Because I'm like, what is he doing? Jorginho, Zouma, a lot of them made sure we fit an extra few gifts in the whole big present. An extra few one. Because no, it wasn't enough to only get 1 point today and give them 2. No. We really, really, really wanted to give them 3 points today. And after that, just more Howlers. The only good player we had was Mason Mount. What does Thomas Tuchel do? Take him from the front 3 into the midfield 2, so he can't do anything offensively. Brilliant chat, mate. You don't have Kante on the bench. You don't have Rudiger on the bench because we decided to rest everybody all of a sudden. Just win tonight, beat Leicester next week and in the cup final, and rest everybody we literally have played it under 12s against Aston Villa. Don't rest people now. We already rested enough against City. Stop this. Look, I don't know where this has come from. I mean, maybe they're all so crazy tired and we don't know about it, right? Fair enough. But this is crazy. At least put these people on the bench. Like, when you go to Manchester, fair enough. You saved them the trip. Kante literally just had to drive to Stamford Bridge. This didn't save him much. I don't understand. I think Tuchel got it very wrong. The players got it very wrong. We were dreadful today. Leno was turning into prime bloody Yashin or Neuer or whatever you want to call it. Crazy. We're going to discuss all of that. We're going to discuss all of it. Pys is going to help me dissect things. We're going to try to not offend anybody. We're going to try to not abuse anybody. But it's a difficult one, right? It's a difficult one. Pys, first of all, thank you for coming on. I know it's not easy. But let's say, aside from the game or the results, I hope you're doing okay.
Yeah. Just more annoyed tonight, really, because I think everyone was kind of really excited that we was going to batter Arsenal. And I think when you get these sort of games where everyone is really, really confident, like I probably knew about, I'd say 95% of the Chelsea fan base all over social media that I saw was very confident we was going to win convincingly tonight. And don't get me wrong, all signs pointed towards that. But it can happen, these sort of games where everyone gets, I guess, overconfident, and then we end up losing like tonight. I saw Tuchel say in his conference after the game that he saw something in training that he didn't really feel was quite right, and he hinted to maybe into. I don't know.
Say that again, bro. You broke up there. Say that again, please. I don't know if it's your internet that's bugging.
In his interview that. Wait, can you hear me?
Now? Yeah, go on.
Okay, yeah. So basically, Tuchel was basically saying that he felt like something in training wasn't quite right, and he wouldn't tell the media. But I don't know whether it's a certain player or whether it's the whole squad. Maybe people are suggesting that he was focusing, or the squad was just focusing on the FA Cup final. Maybe that, the hints are that they thought tonight would be, an easy game, and it certainly felt like that. I think from minute one, when Havertz missed that chance, I felt even after that we had really no urgency, no sort of attacking impetus. Like, it just didn't feel like a Chelsea game tonight. It really didn't, and yeah, I'm just super disappointed with every single player, to be honest with you.
Nah, bro, I can't agree more. Like, I don't know whether it's like the cup final or whatever the reason may be, but what we know for sure is we were shocking, like all over. And it started in the first 5 minutes. Like, people having a go at me saying Mount wasn't good, but Mount, almost like when we had bad games under Frank, at least looked like he was trying. He was forcing Leno to make saves. I mean, Havertz was literally one-on-one with the goalkeeper and skied it. At least Mount put them on target. Like, whether it was the tight angle on his weak foot, whether it was on his strong foot. Did he actually have a shot with his strong foot? I think he had to take all of them with his weak foot. Every single one of them. But he at least tried, right? And then obviously that that shocker. We're gonna dissect it. How much blame you would put to Jorginho? How much blame you would put to Zouma? Did you retweet that tweet you sent me?
No, I put it in my bookmarks. I just sent it to you. But I mean, I've posted something very similar anyway. So
okay. Well, by the way, I've just been sent this. Thomas Tuchel confirms Kepa Arrizabalaga played against Arsenal to get ready, in quotation marks, for the FA Cup final against Leicester City. Well, I mean, again, literally no blame goes at all to Kepa for this goal, but overall, obviously, didn't work out. It's such a shambles. Like, in a weird way, I think we were worse today than we were against West Brom. Because against West Brom, we almost had reasons to be a man down, and then things just happened on top of each other. But today, we were just not on it. And like, it felt like a Lampard game today. It felt like a late Lampard rain game. Like, not too different from the Leicester game. Just that Arsenal obviously know better than Leicester, or much worse than Leicester. I mean, that's what it felt like. We didn't even try. We didn't play. I can't hack it. And Flyers Nizar Kinsella tweeted that he said that. So that I was sent it. Absolute Chelsea tweeted it. I don't honestly, we were bad from top to bottom. Like, there was no intensity, there was no urgency, there was no attempt to get in behind to other than Mount to try and get on goal. People were having such a go at me for Mount. Mount didn't play on the wing. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm not saying he was good, but he was the only one that actually tried something and did something in the first half. Obviously, he was completely invisible in the second half, but he played as a 6, right? So, or kind of a half left mid, whatever. It was super weird in the second half. It was all over the shop. And we genuinely just had a shocker. Like, we had a shocker. And obviously, Leicester got that result against Manchester United yesterday. Understandable, Man United have to rotate. I mean, they played Sunday and they played Tuesday again. Fair enough. You can't play that team again. Fair dues, right? But Leicester got that dub. We're now back to 4th. It's not ideal. We should have gotten a dub today. We should have taken a dub next Tuesday against Leicester. And then we would have been fine against Villa. But no, we just had to make things more difficult. I mean, hey, I suppose that's the way we do things this season. And like you tweeted already when we went 1-0 down, the one straw that we can all clutch on. Nah, sorry, bro. You're having an absolute mare today. Pulisic was shocking. Pulisic did one good thing, and even that he didn't do well. Pulisic was maybe he had a niggle because he was limping half of the first half. But he was not. Pulisic did nothing. Nothing. I know he scored that offside goal, but make sure you're not offside, bro. Like, I say that to all of our strikers when they score offside goals. Make sure you're not offside. But anyways, I'm sorry, Jess. I wholeheartedly have to disagree with you there. Where was I? Oh, yeah. The one straw we can clutch on is that the last time we lost at home to Arsenal was in 2012. And, Dubois can add another little tweet to his thread and try to give us some sort of positivity. Some sort of positivity. That's the only positive thing I can see tonight.
And the referee was Andre Mariner for that game. And he was
but by those, like, we kind of say that for when we played Arsenal back then.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Of course he was.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. To be honest with you, I get excited every time I see it. I'm like, oh my God, how's that happen? But then I watch tonight and I think, if that was City, bloody hell, jeez. Like, I don't know. I really hope the cup final, we just get back to our best, because I need a boost after that. That was so draining, mentally draining, just shocking. Like, if there was fans there, oh my God, that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. I tried to get to some of your comments, guys, soon. I know there's a lot of you talking at the moment. I just thought that comment by Tom was very funny. Thankfully, this side, there's a very thick wall because, like, the next building is like a separate building, right? Below me, no one lives. And the neighbor that way, there's kind of my bedroom in between that. So, we're good that way. Unlike if you live above me, I suppose. They're going to have a better night than when we beat Real Madrid, for example. I was a lot louder then, trust me. But, hey, if you're watching this right now, ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to subscribe. We're literally like 120 subscribers away from the big 10K. I know there's only 50 for now, but still, I'm sure we'll grow, and I'll mention it again. But if you're watching this right now, if you're watching this later on when this has turned into a video, Yusuf, put something in the comments and I'll pin it after. I forgot so far. Put it in the comments and I'll pin it. But yeah, like if you're watching this right now or when you're watching this later on when this has turned into a video, please be sure to subscribe. Help me reach that big 10K. That would be literally the only thing that could cheer me up today, because what a shocking day. And smash the like button as well. Somehow cheer me up. And if you're an Arsenal fan here to take the piss, leave a like to take the piss. I don't know. Leave a like anyway. That'd be quite good. Let me hold off with that a second. Let's start with the player ratings. Let me actually, who can I say? I mean, the can't stay, got to go. I appreciate the clutch. I respect your opinion, but I don't think anyone was good. Pulley wasn't shocking. That's a bit of a shout. Like and sub everyone. See you later, Blues. Yeah, okay. Maybe he wasn't shocking. Maybe shocking was a bit harsh, but he was certainly not the best attacker we had. That's for sure. At the same time, maybe you don't count Mount as an attacker today. Maybe that's it. Fair enough. I appreciate it. I will get to your guys' comments in a minute. I will get to them. But I suppose we start with the goalkeeper. Pys, I'm just going to type out the lineup so you guys can see it at the bottom. I suppose we start with the goalkeeper. Actually, let's start with the lineup. What did you think of the lineup when you saw that?
I mean, to be honest with you, just ignoring the result, because I think that can, sometimes when you ask, oh, what do you think of the lineup, and then we end up losing or drawing, you tend to say, oh, it's really bad and I didn't like it. But if I'm going to be completely honest with you, the only one that stood out to me really was what's his name? Kepa. I didn't really think Kepa would start. He got thrown in again. Obviously now looks like he's going to play the cup final, which I wholeheartedly disagree with as well. But I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. I wanted to see Hudson-Odoi play, but to be honest with you, this is the same front three today that played against Crystal Palace, a low block that we scored 4 goals and we looked absolutely amazing in. So I can't really have any problems with the front three, except how they played on the pitch. But on paper, looked absolutely brilliant. And everyone I was speaking to saying, "Oh, we're going to smash Arsenal. That front three is amazing. All good and rosy." I mean, who else was there? Zouma. I mean, I have a problem with Zouma playing, but then again, who else do you play? You know what I mean? Like in centre back. If Rudiger doesn't play left centre back, who else is going to play? Like he's not going to play like an academy player, is he? Like he's not going to play Emerson left centre back. So we can't have a problem with that. We can have a problem with the player, but we can't have a problem with the selection, because he's forced to select that if he wants to rotate, which he has. But so yeah, lineup, not really many problems apart from Kepa, because just play our number one goalie. And I know Kepa didn't do anything wrong tonight, by the way. I'm not slating Kepa. I just don't like the fact that Mendy, I just don't like it. Mendy should play every game for me, and that's how I've always stuck with. So, that's always been my opinion, so I'm going to stick to it. Your number one keeper should play if he's fit. A backup is a backup. He shouldn't be rotating unless we have like a Donnarumma or someone like that, who's, clearly a class goalie. So
I hear that. I agree. I don't think Kepa needed a preparation game for the FA Cup final. Like that's just devaluing tonight's game, and in my opinion, part of the reason why we bottled it, because we didn't take it seriously, and that stems from the top. In my opinion, that is, and I'm not gonna make this a Thomas Tuchel rant, but it's just that decision. Oh, we're gonna play Kepa for him to get ready. That doesn't sound like we're taking tonight's game serious, does it?
No, but again, I'm not saying obviously I don't know whether to blame Tuchel, because the thing is, but the thing is, Laurenz, I don't know whether this is coming from Marina saying, "Look, we want to get rid of him in the summer. You need to start playing him a bit more."
Well, not just for that, but yeah, okay, yeah, go on.
You know what I mean? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. When Kepa eventually leaves, we'll probably get the full story. Was Tuchel told to play him in these games so he could get his price up? Because the more games he plays, the more we're actually probably going to be able to attract a sale, because he's played a fair few now. And I've always thought, is this coming from the top, instead of Tuchel, or is it actually coming from Tuchel? Tuchel's deciding it. Until I know that for a fact, someone comes out with clear evidence of who's behind this, I can't stick the blame on one or the other. It's just too unfair.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm not even saying because of Kepa I'm blaming Tuchel. I'm blaming him for, I say it now, because I agree with you. The starting lineup I didn't have so many issues with, to be honest. Not really many, if any. What I had a serious issue with is our bench. The fact that Kante wasn't on the bench, the fact that Rudiger wasn't on the bench, to me is suicide. That's, again, in my opinion, giving the squad, the message, this game isn't serious. That's what you don't leave players out of a home game squad. Like I said, for an away game, like away at Man City, it makes sense to leave someone like Mount, like Chilwell at home. That gives them a proper rest because they don't have to travel. When you play at home, you do not leave players out of the squad. You don't do that. And that's a howler. That's giving the wrong message. And I disagree with it. And again, like people say in the chat, Kepa wasn't the problem today. And we're going to get to the rating now. Kepa wasn't the problem. Kepa didn't make a mistake. In my opinion, Kepa actually pulled off a wonder save to keep Jorginho's back pass out in the first place. I've never seen a goalkeeper run that fast in my life. Fair play to him. I don't know. Do you actually know the rules? If obviously Emile Smith-Rowe doesn't put the rebound in, would that have been an indirect free kick?
Yeah,
and
it would have.
Shouldn't it have been an indirect free kick then, regardless? Because as far as I'm aware, there's no advantage play for a back pass.
Yeah, it would have been an indirect free kick, and that's what the commentators were saying, that the referee could have blown, but he didn't. So it was a bit weird. I don't know what the rules are specifically, but I know it would have been from what the commentators were saying. Yeah,
that's a weird one to me, because when it's like not an attempted back pass, the goalie's allowed to pick it up, but when it was a really wayward back pass that was attempted, he's not. That's a weird rule in my opinion. But let's get to Kepa's rating. I know you're going to disagree, but I would give him a 7, just because I feel bad for him, because people are criticizing him, and I actually think he pulled off a great save to keep that out in the first place. I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm giving him I would give him a 7 and give him probably the best rating of anybody.
Yeah, I mean, 7's maybe a bit too high. I was probably going to say I don't know, like 6 or 5, but I'm happy if you want to go higher. I mean, he did make a good save, so yeah. To be honest, yeah.
I mean, people are saying like 6.5 or 6. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Let's do 6.5, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want to drop it lower, fair enough. But again, like, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, he isn't to blame for the goal, and he didn't concede another goal, and like Arsenal didn't do another thing. So, like, how can we physically drop Kepa ratings? You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. But hey, it's a tough one. And then we get to the defenders. I mean, can I say that Aspi and Thiago Silva were dreadful? Not really. But were they good? Definitely not. I would probably give them each a 6. Because what can I talk about? Like, we didn't defend.
Yeah, it's true. The only one that gets a super low rating is Zouma.
Yeah.
The other two, like, I don't really know what to say. I mean, they were okay. It was just an average performance, but Arteta just parked the bus, so we didn't really have any 1v1 situations, or they didn't make any mistakes. So yeah, I guess an average score for both.
Would you agree with 6, or would you go lower because of the overall performance result? I'd be okay if you said 5.
Yeah, I'd probably go both 5, to be honest.
Fair enough. Let's go with 5. And then we can already start dissecting the goal, because obviously it will be between Zouma and Jorginho. Now, obviously maybe not even a main blame. Maybe you would disagree. For me, the main blame still goes to Jorginho for the goal itself. But as it's been analysed by, for example, Ian Wright for, I don't know what channel it was, they analysed it very well. Kurt Zouma received that ball initially by Jorginho, passed it back to Jorginho, and Jorginho passed it back again because he had no other options. And then Zouma has Chilwell in front of him, completely unmarked, has a fairly easy pass to Gilmour, who just has to run 5 yards to get to the ball. And Kepa literally comes closer to him to give Zouma an easy pass. Instead, he waits, and he doesn't even play a quick pass to Jorginho. No, he waits to pass it to Jorginho until Jorginho is surrounded by 2 people, and then pass it to Jorginho. Jorginho, under pressure, has to play a quick back pass, and then when Jorginho makes the mistake, doesn't look up. And doesn't see that Kepa is not in the middle of the goal. Passes straight into the middle of the goal. Obviously, Kepa somehow keeps it out. Would have been an indirect free kick, apparently. Emile Smith-Rowe. To be fair to Smith-Rowe, fair play to him to make the run, actually, because not many players would in that position to even continue running to make sure you get a rebound. And to be honest, did you see? He actually would have missed if he doesn't hit his other leg. He would have put it wide, but because he hits his inside leg, or he hits his the leg he's standing on, leaning on, the ankle. That's why it takes another direction and the deflection towards the goal again. Shocking, absolutely shocking. But I said initially on Blues Fan TV, on Chelsea Fan TV, as it's called now, before I saw what you sent me, I was like, because I didn't see the big picture, I was like, did Kepa actually come for Zouma? Or did Kepa do the thing that we're always telling goalkeepers? Because goalkeepers, if you don't know, goalkeepers are always taught, don't stand in the middle of your goal for a back pass, stand next to it. And why is that? Simple explanation. In case you have a bad touch as the goalie, and it kind of runs through you. So it doesn't go into the goal, but next to the goal and goes out for a corner. That's why goalies are taught to stand next to the goal. But that doesn't seem to be the case yet. Kepa literally just came wide because of Zouma to offer the passing option. And then obviously Jorginho played a quick first time pass backwards, so Kepa didn't have time to come back into the middle. So initially I was thinking Mendy doesn't usually move out wide as much because Kepa is not that type of mobile goalie like Kepa is. But then when I saw the big picture, it's like, nah, I can't even say that I blame Tuchel because goalkeeping rotation, Mendy would have been in the middle. No, Mendy would have been in the same position. So no blame goes to Tuchel for that. No blame goes to Kepa at all for that. And if anybody tries to tell me that Kepa has any blame for this, take yourself and put yourself in the bin because that's where you belong if you have that opinion. Honestly, that's ridiculous. But Zouma, what rating are you giving him? Because obviously he nearly got us a point at the end if it wasn't for a brilliant Leno head save. How are you feeling? 2?
Shocking.
I would say
shocking performance. Absolutely appalling. On the ball, shocking. And as I've already explained to you, yes, Jorginho was at fault for the actual goal, but this is the thing with Zouma. If that was Rudiger, it's all about pace. It's all about the quickness of play under Tuchel. It's all about knowing your passing options and knowing your surroundings. How many times has Zouma been caught out on the ball doing something stupid? This is why. It's not his fault that he has to play because obviously we don't have anyone else. That's why we're looking for another centre-back as well. Because I think Tuchel actually just wants all our centre-backs to be good ball players because they're always on the bloody ball. So, you know what I mean? Zouma is awful on the ball. He's good at tackling and stuff and heading, and he's strong, but he's not good on the ball. And Tuchel wants his defenders to be ball players. And when you can't pick out simple passing options, just look up Chilwell's right to left. And guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go to my Twitter profile. It's the latest tweet. Basically, Zouma, as Laurenz explained, he just took so long. Chilwell was to his left. He had a passing option once he got it back from Jorginho to play it. I think it was to Gilmore, who was right ahead of him. But no, he played it to Jorginho again. I know people trust Jorginho, but I just don't see the need to play it there. And just keep the ball moving, man. It really stressed me out, honestly. And not only that, did you see as well? He was taking 1 or 2 shots from 40 yards right towards the end of the game. You're not bloody Rudiger. You're terrible at shooting. Stop shooting from 40 yards, man. Seriously, you don't have that in you. You don't have the dipped shots like Rudiger has where the keeper has to parry it all the time. You're not good at shooting, so stop bloody shooting. Seriously. I don't know, man. I could go on a rant for ages. I thought he was genuinely shocking. Genuinely shocking. He was caught out of position a lot as well. Oh, man. I don't even know what to give him. I want to give him a 0. I think he was that bad. Genuinely. I thought he was appalling.
I think 0 for anybody is a bit harsh. So I would give him a 1 if it wasn't for the head. And I know that doesn't lead to a goal, but it's the only dangerous thing we had in the second half. So, and that was a hell of a leap. Hence why I would give him the 2. Maybe 1.5 if you want.
1.
Maybe 1.5.
Just a 1 for me. All
right. I'll push it to the 1.5 because I want to give someone else a 1 who I think overall just more blame has to go to, in my opinion. What I forgot to do so far, which we're going to do now before we get into the rest of the player ratings, quickly play the clip for OneFootball, who of course I am sponsored by this month. It's a shorter clip now, so it doesn't take us long, but of course download the OneFootball app with the link down in the description, guys. I want to say a massive thank you to OneFootball for partnering up with me and sponsoring my channel. Like the name suggests, it's a football app, and trust me, it's one of the best ones out there. You get all the latest football news from pretty much every single team and league all around the world. Team news, live score updates, league tables, fixture lists, everything you could possibly want to know in the world of football, you find it right there. Never want to miss out on any news surrounding Chelsea again? OneFootball has got you covered. As you can see on screen now, all the news is all there in one place. Whether it's the latest injury news, articles before and after games, or of course, transfer rumors. And with the transfer window actually opening and coming up soon, as well, you'll definitely want to make use of that transfer indicator, which not only tells you about all the rumors out there, it also tells you how likely a certain transfer actually is to happen. Like I said, it's honestly a brilliant app that I can only recommend downloading with the link down in the description below. And downloading the app with my link also really helps out my channel. All it takes is literally a few seconds to click that link down in the description below. Doesn't matter whether you're an iPhone or Android, I download the app right there with that link. So again, go down below into the description and download the OneFootball app with my link right now. And now we continue to Reece James, where it's a tough one to judge Reece, really, because I don't actually think Reece was that bad, but the overall performance was bad, but I don't think it was good. Do we give him just that 5 along with Aspi and Thiago, maybe 5.5? I don't know. What do you feel, mate?
Yeah, I don't really know what to give him, to be honest. A couple of times later on in the game, I thought he could have put the ball in the box instead of just trying to do 1-2s. I don't know, man. I don't think he was terrible, but don't necessarily think he was good either. Maybe like a 6, maybe something like that.
He would go as high as a 6. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a 5. I don't know, somewhere around that.
So we do 5.5 then, if you aren't sure between 5 and 6, I suppose.
Yeah, 5.5, I think.
And then coming to Chilwell,
shocking.
I would. What have we heard? That is actually true. Well, 1 or 2 of them were okay, but on average, our corners were poor today. Although the last one, I'm pretty sure Pulisic took that. The last really bad one, that was Pulisic that took it, in terms of saying how great Pulisic was today. Chile, I think, was a tad worse than Reece, but not necessarily because, maybe not worse, but just less involved because we didn't use the left flank.
4 or 5 for me, probably. There was one occasion where we was basically all our attackers were in the box and our defenders are in the box. He got it at the edge, just literally crossed it off the pitch.
True.
And literally did a little smirk either, which annoyed me as well. I was just like, these guys just aren't serious today. Like, they really just don't care. Like, I genuinely think they thought this was going to be easy, and I thought they were just, their heads were on the weekend, I think.
Yeah, no, that's honestly what it feels like. And I mean, obviously, I get it. I get it in a sense that, a cup final is huge. And also, Arsenal are having a bad season, but surely we can't let ourselves. Did Reece do the last one? But then I apologize to Pulisic if Reece took the last corner. But Arsenal is still one of our biggest rivals. I don't understand how we seem to have just taken this game so lightly. I don't care what league position they're in. You don't take rivals not seriously. You don't do that. Like, how do these players think that we had a 27-year unbeaten run against Tottenham at home? They weren't half the time worse than Arsenal were this season. And we still never lost to them. Take things seriously. Like, I don't like this not taking games seriously. This is bollocks. I can't handle it. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It's honestly, it really pisses me off. I don't know. Maybe I want to give Reece a 6 and Chile a 5, actually.
Yeah, maybe. I do think Chile was a slight bit worse, to be fair. I think he was less involved as well, but...
Yeah. Just because I think actually Reece wasn't that bad. I know what you're saying in terms of should have crossed more, but if we won the game for the same performance, we probably would give him a 7. 7.5.
I do not annoy you though. Like, did you not notice, like, when Giroud came on, we just weren't.
Let's get to that when we talk about Giroud's rating, because I agree. I have a few things to say about that actually. But we get to Jorginho, bro. You had a howler. But what I need to make that stance, and people might be angry at me for saying this, but people that are now saying, oh, Jorginho should never play and he should never be in the reserves, and this is what I've been telling you all along, Jorginho is awful. No, Jorginho had a bad game and a really bad moment. That doesn't mean he wasn't amazing against Real Madrid twice, against Porto, against Atletico Madrid, against Man City in the FA Cup, against Liverpool, against all these teams. That doesn't mean he wasn't great against them. Like, that doesn't, like, do you know what I mean? It does not make sense for people to start. Everyone had a mistake. By that logic, we shouldn't never ever play Timo Werner again. Never ever play Kai Havertz again. Never ever after some performances play Chilwell again. Play Reece James again. Play Alonso again. Play Rudiger. We shouldn't have played Rudiger again after the on goal against Sheffield United by that logic. Like, I know we won the game, but still, it's arguably a worse mistake what Rudiger did there than what Jorginho did today. But still, we're hyping saying we missed Rudiger today. Just because Jorginho made the mistake today doesn't mean he's now awful and should never play again. But he was awful. And Zouma messed it up, sure, but Jorginho has to look up and know where Kepa is. You can't play that pass. You cannot. Play it just wide of the goal, because if the goal is in the middle of the goal, he can still run out and get it if you play it wide of the goal. But don't aim it straight back at it. You cannot do that. That's crazy. You cannot do that. You absolutely cannot do that. And I think because it was so bad, and I also think it was poor outside of that, not just that mistake. I think he's the one that maybe, and someone else, we'll get to that, needs to even get a one and worse than Zouma, because Zouma at least had the header, I suppose.
Yeah, and a big FU to all Chelsea fans as well that said that he should be, upgraded, or, like, I saw a tweet, actually said, let me find it. It said something like, okay, I've got it up here. It says, as much as much like Jorginho, he will always be a liability, and there are much better midfielders out there. Yeah, right. There's much better defenders out there than Zouma. There's much better attackers out there than what we've got. There's much better.
That goes for every position. Yeah, exactly.
That goes for every position. And this is the thing which gets me really riled up about Jorginho. How many good games, not even good, how many world-class games has he had under Tuchel, especially in the Champions League? He has produced some world-class performances, in my personal opinion. And now he does one mistake, has one bad game. He can be upgraded. Jorginho's back. Like, please, guys, please don't be one of those people. He had a bad game. We move on. Like, everyone has bad games. I don't like it. And every time Jorginho has been doubted by these particular stupid section of Chelsea fans, he's always bounced back. So please, if he plays in the cup final on Sunday, actually, you know what? I know he'll probably drop a masterclass if he plays on Saturday or Sunday.
I agree.
Because that's what he's like. So for these Chelsea fans, if you're one of them who are just saying, get rid, he doesn't, blah, blah, blah. I've never really rated him, really. If you're coming out of your shell after tonight's mistake, then, you better be hidden in that shell when, he plays really well. Because I don't want to
just stay in that shell. We don't need your opinion.
Bro, trust. Like, he had a bad game. He gets a bad rating, and that's that. Let's move on. Like, it's not a player who's bad consistently. He's been shown, if you put him in the right system, he can be an absolutely fantastic player. And that's what he has been under Tuchel. So, just a bit of a rant to those certain people. Just get over yourselves. Like, seriously.
Yeah, no, 100%. And just to reply to TK13 here, because I see him a lot in the chat, saying, forget the mistake. Why was Georgia kept on when we were chasing the game? Generally, can't play the killer pass against low blocks and can't defend counterattacks. Now, I don't think you can say we can't defend counterattacks, because we conceded literally one counterattack today, and half of them he stopped. So I don't think you can say that. And, I mean, are you going to play no midfield? Like, we already took one of them off. And the problem was that we didn't have another one on the bench.
I don't even agree with that comment either, because he's saying, like, what did he say? Something like he can't play the killer pass. If there's movement, Jorginho will play a ball over the top or will find the ball. No one.
Also, we're too deep for a ball over the top, to be fair.
But that's what I'm saying. But by that comment is like he's just saying, he's kind of blaming him, like he can't play that killer pass. He couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's not his fault. There's no bloody movement or space anyway. So I think that's harsh to get on him for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe fair enough, but for me, still, it's a one. You can't make a mistake like that. And to me, it was still poor outside of that as well. To me, it was still poor outside of that too. Billy Gilmour is a tough one, because we'll discuss it now. What you made of him being taken off at halftime, because the midfield didn't work in the first half. I don't think it was good, but he was the better of the two. But at the same time, he just doesn't have the experience and also the positioning and the awareness to play the sole DM against a team like Arsenal. I know he did it against Fulham, but he struggled against them too. So, like, do you know what I mean by that logic? So because he clearly wanted to change the midfield, I understand it. But in my opinion, he should have just left them two. If you make that mistake, Tuchel, of not putting Kante on the bench, just don't change the midfield, because it's not going to get better by taking Mount out of the front three. The whole game isn't going to get better because of that.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Gilmore was harsh to come off. I actually have Tuchel's words finally about like why he decided to take him
Go
off.
on.
So,
Okay.
basically, what he said was, "We saw they defended so deep. We wanted to have Mason, who has a better shot from 18 meters, to be more dangerous from distance. Have an offensive player like Mason in the pivot instead of Gilmore. It wasn't that Billy was bad. We just wanted an offensive change for tactical power. For Billy's situation, we will talk to him after the season, but right now he's here and doing his job. We lacked Angola and Mateo Kovacic in midfield. It is unfair to put all on his shoulders, Billy Gilmore, and he had a fantastic game against Manchester City. He was by far not the problem." So,
I agree. I would give Billy probably a 6 with James, maybe a 5.5, because actually a 5.5. I don't think it was quite as good as James. Also, he only played a half.
yeah, I'd agree. Give him something like a 6. I thought he did play well. And just as I do agree, Mount never took any long shots, but like when you're a
Yeah,
manager, like I do agree with the thinking. Yeah, it is kind of more attacking, but at the same time, a pivot's a pivot. It's still got to work off the ball and like on the ball as well. Like, you know what I mean? It just clearly doesn't work. But
exactly. Like
again,
it makes sense,
a
but
lack of options again. You know, in midfield.
yeah, I mean, it is true what the logic, but still, you took our only player that created chances for us, aside from Havertz, obviously on pouncing on the Arsenal mistake in the first half. You took the only guy out. Like, and people, you can tell me that Pulisic created them. That's all well and good. But Pulisic created moments for himself. Havertz created moments for themselves. They never shot. At least Mount tried to test the goalkeeper. In the second half, Mount was obviously invisible, but in my opinion, that was down to the position, less down to him. He should have done better, of course. I won't give him a high rating, trust me. But what would you said 6 for Billy. Would you actually say he was as good as James?
Yeah, to be fair, I think he was. I rated his game. To be fair, I thought he was moving the ball nicely. I mean, some guys said 2. Like, I don't get that. I thought he played decent the first
I
half.
would give him a 5 or 5.5. So we're gonna do 5.5 because I agree. The longer the first half went on, the better he got, and then he was definitely a 6 or a 7. But I still think the first 10, 15 minutes, him and Jorginho had no control, and that is also him. And I feel like for us, we just more remember what happens just before halftime. But in the end, it's a compromise. And then we get to Mount. Hey, us in the chat, or me in the chat, are gonna clearly have a disagreement here. We're going to clearly have a bit of a disagreement here because I would give Mount. I don't know how much to blame him for being invisible in the second half. Do you know what I mean? Because for the first half, I think I probably would give him a 7. But in the second half, he was just so not there. But I don't know how much to discredit him for that, if that makes sense. What would you say?
Yeah, no, it does make sense. But again, like I don't know, man. Like Mount just needed to come deeper and get on the ball more, I think. But again, it's not his fault. He's not really used to the pivot thing. So there's a lot of mixed ratings. I mean, I'm seeing 5, 3, 4. First half 6.5, second 3. Yeah, it's not his fault, but it is at the same time because you're still a football player and you still have to know your role. And whatever role you put into, like I've heard Mount say before, like he can play, he can play deeper, he can play further forward. Well, clearly he can't play deeper for us, can he? Like, I don't know, it's just not working, is it? So,
Yeah.
I half blame Tuchel, but I half don't. Like, I don't know. I don't know what rating to give him. Because in the first half he looked good though. I thought he was doing good going forward, and
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. That's exactly what I'm saying. I would say 5 overall. I think that's okay.
yeah, I think that will level it out nicely. I think somewhere around that, I think will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get to Jets's comment here. Who set up Mount's? Where is it? Who set up Mount's volley in the first half? Yeah, that was Pulisic. That was Pulisic making a run and one cross. Are we gonna now start hyping people up for a cutback? Like, calm down. Like, he did good, sure, but you're hyping it up as if he was this magical player today when everybody else was really bad. So I disagree with that. What we'll get to Pulisic now. I would give him a 4. I don't think he did enough. Maybe a 4.5, but yeah, maybe a 4.5.
I was honestly going to give him lower than that. I thought he was awful. Um, yeah, I thought he was really, really bad. And you know what? It actually comes back to something I said the other week on here. I specifically said, like, when he gets the ball to his feet and it doesn't stick, he is so bad. Like, honestly, like when the dribbling and turns just aren't going his way, like, I don't know, some nights it just doesn't stick. But when it sticks, he's absolutely unbelievable. And when he gets into that groove and he goes in those dribbles and runs and moves, like, yeah, he's unplayable. But sometimes he's absolutely dreadful and he can't impact the game at all. And yes, he's still young and it's inconsistencies. But purely on this game tonight, yeah, apart from the cutback, what did he do? Um, he just wasn't good. He wasn't looking like a goal threat. He wasn't going on any of these crazy dribbles, which we needed. He wasn't dragging us forwards. He wasn't looking like he was going to be the one player that was going to take people on. You know, what did he do? Like, I don't know. Maybe a 3 for me. I don't know what to give him. Like, genuinely, just really low score.
3, I think, is a bit. I mean, I suppose if I said 4.5, I would have. If you would have pushed me to give him the same amount, I would have been okay with that. So I guess in the mix of us two, a 4 then maybe, I guess. Just to, I don't know. Now, if I look at it, I feel like even with the mistake, the 1 for George is a bit harsh. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Maybe I want to give it 1.5 like Zouma. I don't know. We'll get to that. Because the real villain of the day, and he's a nice guy, and I know he's struggled this season, but we cannot hold back from criticism for Kai Havertz today. Because we can blame Zouma all we want. We can blame Jorginho all we want. We can blame Mount and Pulisic all we want. At the end of the day, all of us, and when I say all of us, that is us Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, and every neutral out there, knows for a fact if Havertz goes that goal, we go home with a comfortable 2-0, 3-0 victory. However clinical we are. We go home and there's no problem. No questions asked, and it's all good. But and again, I said this on Chelsea Fan TV earlier already. Not only did he not score, he didn't hit it against the goalkeeper. He didn't hit the post. He didn't put it half a yard wide. He skied it. He put it a yard or two over the goal from inside the box. Like, at the same time, it's equally as bad as Mount's miss against Madrid, but he had at least an angle. Kai was literally running at the goalkeeper. 1-on-1, he left the defender for dead because he was much quicker than him. And he just... That's why I'm considering maybe push Jorginho to 1.5 because I think Havertz should have the worst rating, and I think anything with 0 is a bit too harsh. Because Kai didn't do nothing outside of that either. The only thing he did was maybe he should have had a penalty early in the first half. Because I think I don't think the handball, I think the rules, there probably isn't a handball, even if it looks stupid. The way it literally stops the ball from going in, it was kind of in front of his body. You know, the rule is like if the arm's up, it's a handball. If it's not, it's not. Do you know what I mean? But in my opinion, when Gabriel tackled him, that is a pen. But other than that, Havertz was so bad. Like, so bad today. His controls were poor. His movement was poor. He was scared to shoot. And I don't even know, why did he go for a high shot? Like, for my only logic is, because against Madrid, in his big sitter, he went for a low shot and the goalie saved it. So that's why he didn't have the balls to place it today and try to hit it. Honestly, really, really, really bad for him today. Pice, what you saying?
All right, yeah. Wait, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
All right, yeah, my mic was muted. So, yeah, the only other one I was going to say as well. Do you remember the cross, which he didn't quite get?
Yes, he just doesn't have that striker's instinct. He doesn't go for those. He doesn't slide in. He doesn't run every time. Same thing.
Yeah. So again, you have I think mention that as well because just lacks the instinct. And although people say he can play false 9, yeah, he can, but he's not an actual striker. Like, imagine that's Lukaku or Haaland on the end of that cross. Like, they're never ever missing that. They're getting ahead of the defender. They're scoring the goal, and that's that. There's no two questions about it.
Yeah.
So I really, really like Havertz, and to be honest with you, I don't think I think for me personally, Zouma gets the worst rating, but I think Havertz and Pulisic are closely followed. Because I thought
you think Pulisic was as bad as Havertz, even with the miss?
No. So I think they're closely followed, but I think Havertz was second bad. But then again, like, so Zouma worst, Havertz next worst, and then probably like Pulisic and Jorginho. But for
You
an
do
overall,
realize we gave Jorginho a 1, right?
yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you not
so-
agree with this? Did I not
No.
realize that you strongly disagree with this?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what to give Havertz because obviously we give Jorginho a 1, and in that case,
I'm putting that
gets
up to a 1.5 now. I think 1's a bit
you know what I
too
mean?
harsh.
Like,
I feel a
don't,
bit too harsh.
yeah, like I don't know what to give Havertz because I just thought they were all awful, like Jorginho, Zouma, Havertz. Like,
Do we give all three of them at 1.5 or do we give Havertz lower? I think Havertz could get lower. Because again, we talk about Zuma's mistake. We talk about Jorginho's mistake. Havertz is the real decisive mistake today, not them two. I mean, of course, you could say without the other mistake, at least we get 1 point, sure. But without Havertz's mistakes, we don't get 0, we don't get 1, we get 3, and I guarantee it.
yeah. So I know I want to disagree with you, but I can't. Like, I really like Havertz, so it's gonna suck giving him a low rating, but we have to give whatever. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I like Jorginho as well, bro. Trust me.
1 maybe. I don't know. What are you gonna give him?
You don't seem too happy with me giving him lower than Zouma and Jorginho, so I'm going to give him the same. I'm going to give him 1.5 too.
All right. Okay. We can do that. I still think Zouma gets like a 0, but
Yeah, no, I hear that. And then we get to one of the guys that is closely following these worst players on the pitch today. Hudson-Odoi. You know, people talk about how Hudson-Odoi needs to play and why is he not playing? And this bad, angry man, Thomas Tuchel, we hate him so much because he never plays Callum Hudson-Odoi, just like Sarri and Lampard, but never anyone mentioned it for Lampard and everyone hated Sarri and Tuchel for it. Anyway, comes on, he's meant to turn up to be a decisive player and literally made us worse. Like, our second half was significantly worse than the first half. We didn't have a shot on target between the 28th minute and like the 80-something minute until Pulisic had that really bad kind of attempt on goal of the Ziyech cross. I think it was a Ziyech cross. Before, obviously, we had the 2 times when we hit the bar. We didn't have a shot on target for like an hour. And Hudson-Odoi was meant to come on to change this. He was genuinely dreadful. I would give him a 1.5 with the other ones.
yeah, I think it has to be
Was
around
it Joe's
there.
cross? Well, okay, maybe I give him a 2 then.
Like, again though, Laurenz, it's inconsistencies. Like we mentioned last stream, how good was he? Manchester City, like, came on, changed the game, looked absolutely
not rating
unreal.
last game. We're not rating this game.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, inconsistencies. Like, Cho fans have a reason to say he should play more based on last game, but based on this game, they have to realise that he's still inconsistent. He's still young, and he can't have these bad games. He wasn't good at all on the ball. He was shocking. Even the one, you know, like when he was offside, the one.
He didn't play that to Havertz. I was shouting at my TV.
And that's what I'm saying. People are like, oh, it was offside. Doesn't matter. You still play the correct pass, even if it is offside. Like, he came in, cut in, and then played it out wide to Chilwell, who didn't even get the ball, I don't think. Like,
No.
I was like,
just a really, really bad cross.
Yeah, he was on a madness in the wrong way tonight. Like, yeah. I do agree that he does need a run of games, as the guys say in the comments. And inconsistencies of being young, yes, but it's going to be hard because we have had so many wins before this where, you know, it's hard to displace our players based on, you know, form and results. So I can see both sides of the argument. You know what's going to be really interesting is what team he puts out on Saturday, because really it's a kind of a lucky dip. Like, he could pick whoever because they were all shocking. So it's like whoever he trusts the most. I gathered Werner will start, but
no, Gideon, we did not. Sorry, I interrupted you. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, who on earth, like, how does he pick the team on the weekend? Because no one staked the claim, did they? They were all shocking. No one stood out. It was poor. It was a shambles. Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but what rating would you give Callum then?
Like a 1, probably 1.5. Mate,
Would you actually rate him the same as these other three, or do you think maybe a tad higher just because? Well, I don't know.
nah, I to be honest with you, maybe even worse. Like I thought he was really, really bad. I don't know.
I know, but you'd give Zouma a 0. So
yeah, I would. Like genuinely, I don't.
You have
think
to
he
almost
deserves a
consider the 1.5 as a 0.
like I just don't think Zouma deserved the score. So
Fair enough.
I give him a 1 for the header, but it still didn't bloody go in. So you know what I mean.
That's true. That's true. And Giroud is a tough one, and you tried to talk about this earlier. When Giroud was on, we didn't cross. Bar one Hudson-Odoi cross, and that was a poor cross because it was a towards the goal swinging cross, making it so much more difficult for the attacker to get anything on that. Like you have to swing it like away, like from the left side, you cross with your left foot so that you know the attacker can use the power of the cross to put power on the header. And from the right side, use the right foot. You don't in-swing across. Ziyech can do that, but no one else can. So Callum needs to stop doing that. And Giroud gets a low rating because he was poor. But this team, at this point, does not know anymore how to play with an actual striker. We don't know anymore. We didn't know what to do when we had Giroud on the pitch. We played like we had Havertz on the pitch. And also, if people are still telling me Giroud has good link-up play, actually watch Chelsea games whenever he plays, because the man hasn't had good link-up play in about 6 months. Well, whenever the Sevilla game was, that's how long. So that was probably 7 months. That's the only game this season where the man had good link-up play. The only game. Maybe I'm forgetting 1 or 2. But you know what I'm saying. He was poor. I will give him a 2.5 or 3. No more.
Yeah, feel really bad for Giroud, to be honest with you, because like he is really old and he's definitely going to be leaving this summer, and you know he has done quite a lot for us. But it's clear to see now that he just, you know, he's really is like an emergency option, and that emergency option is he's still bloody really good at headers. So you know, why don't you guys actually cross the ball? You know what I mean? Why? Again, this is another thing I was debating. I saw someone say, why didn't you just bring Ziyech and Giroud on at the same time and just have Ziyech spam cross to Giroud? If things aren't going well, just go back to the old Lampard ways and actually shove some
But the Ziyech type crosses aren't the crosses for Giroud. Ziyech doesn't do those crosses for the striker. Ziyech does the crosses for a Werner or a Pulisic at the far post, or Alonso or a Chilwell. Ziyech doesn't do the type of crossing that Giroud can do much with, in my opinion. It's not the type of cross that Ziyech plays. And you saw it when Ziyech was on. How many of them did he try to get to Giroud? 1, 2? Most of them he tried to get far post. That's what he does. And there's no criticism of Ziyech. That's what he does. It's fair play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. I get what you're saying, but still, like, I don't know. Like, if Giroud found a yard of space, or you know, like, I don't know. There's a situation where
finding a yard of space.
like you know, but in the box, if he made a run or something, I'd back Ziyech to pick that out instead of the others. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So if you have like an emergency option, just maybe do that. Like, I don't know why they don't cross, and it's not just been this game as well. Like, it's been the case always with Giroud. We never crossed to him. It's like we was crossing the ball to bloody Havertz and everyone else before. Like, just cross it to Giroud. Like, it's not hard. And yes, he is past his expiry date. Is that his fault? No. You know what I mean? He's like 34. You know, sorry, Tuchel, I'm not coming on. He's not going to say that, is he? You know, everyone knows he's kind of finished now, but still, he's used for crosses. He's used for getting on the end of things, and we didn't even try that. So how can you blame him? And yes, the only other thing, he did it that bar, didn't he? From a shot, from a volley.
He did it, which is why I would give him the 3, not a 2.5. Because I still think I know we didn't cross, but when he had the ball, he lost it every time. He didn't hold the ball up a single time when we tried to play long to him. Havertz actually held it up better.
What is this comment? I'm sorry, I have to address this comment. He said, same people saying we would just cross, and that word that they all say, make your mind up. Bro, we don't want to play this all the time. We want to play this in the last 5-10 minutes.
For the last 10-20 minutes, when we're 1-0 down against a team that has 11 men behind the ball.
Exactly. We want to play how we've been playing, on the ball, quick, fluid movement, attacking, creating chances. We only want to spam cross when Giroud's on the pitch and an emergency option. So I don't get that comment, to be honest.
No, I don't get it either. So, well, what rating would you agree on for Giroud then, mate?
Like between 2 and a 3, maybe.
Give him the 3 then. Come on, let's not be too harsh. And then we get to Hakim Ziyech, who I thought was actually our best outfield player. I know he didn't play long, but that while that he did play, he was our best player. And it wasn't even close. Someone put it here. I'm not sure if this stat is correct, but I presume it is. Where is it? There he goes. Ziyech created 6 chances in 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? He's the man of the match. That's clearly, Leno. That's clearly Leno. But in terms of our players, I think he actually does deserve the highest rating. I know he didn't play long, but that's not his fault. I think he deserves a 7.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was good when he came on as well. It'd be interesting to see if he starts in the cup final. I don't know, man. 7. I do agree. There was a cross as well he put to the back post, which was brilliantly intercepted by Bellerin. That was the goal, by the way.
But Bellerin literally looked to ruin his knee forever. I don't know whether he is injured. The way he landed on it, almost feel bad for him.
Yeah, but that was the goal, though. That ball was superb. Hudson-Odoi just had to play it across. Giroud had to tap in. That was it. But when that didn't happen, I was like, yeah, it's not a night. So, but yeah, Ziyech was good when he came on.
Hey, that's the first rating people seem to actually agree with us. And no, his block shot, Leno was saving that. Don't kid yourself. Leno was saving that comfortably. But it was a good shot regardless. The one good shot from distance we had tonight, fair play to Ziyech. So, I think he did good. And Tuchel, you and me might disagree here, but I think Tuchel had a howler today. A real howler. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 150 people watching. Big ups to yourselves for that. If you're new here and you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. I don't know how far away we're at this point, but before the stream started, we were about 120 subscribers away from the big 10,000. So if it so happens that most of you are not subscribed yet, which I doubt, but you never know, it could be, please do subscribe. Help me, get closer to that 10K at least. And the sooner we can get it, the better. And smash the like button as well. I mean, we have 150 people, and we're not anywhere near 100 likes, I think. So make sure you smash the like button right now. At least cheer us up. Myself and Pys, we're struggling through this. It's not easy on a day like today to provide this type of content. So smash that like button. Honestly, go down below, click the like button. Doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. So please do that. That'd be massively appreciated. And of course, download the OneFootball app with the link down below. Tuchel, you know what? Before I say my piece, I want you to say your piece and your rating in the end as well.
Yeah, more difficult than it should be for me today, I think. Because the thing is, I don't know, man. The lineup, I can't go back on my word. I didn't have a problem with it. So the only thing that I can maybe deduct points for is Kepa. I just don't agree. But again, I don't want to say that Tuchel's at fault for this because it could be coming from ball downwards.
But also Kepa didn't cost us the result. So
but again, for me personally, I still don't like Kepa starting. So I always want Mendy starting. So I think I'll just ignore that, to be honest, because I think that can go into a whole different, whole other debate. So yeah, lineup for me, not really a problem. Not gonna lie. Performance obviously wasn't good. But again, the players were shocking, man. I don't know. I'd love to get more in-depth detail about the training situation because Tuchel did say obviously.
Sorry, I need to interrupt you again, Niche. Maybe you weren't here when I explained it, but you need to learn football if you think Kepa's positioning was wrong. Just watch analysis. Ian Wright literally analysed himself. Kepa came wide for Zouma to pass it to him, and Zouma shouldn't have passed to Jorginho in the first place because he was literally surrounded by 2 Arsenal players and had to play a first-time back pass. He shouldn't have ever played it to Jorginho. Kepa was in the perfect position to be there. He had to be there. And even if he didn't come wide for Zuma's pass, goalkeepers, all of their life long, are taught, don't wait between your stick. Wait between your goal, between the sticks. Wait to the side. So just in case you have a bad touch, it doesn't kind of just slip through into the goal and for an own goal. For that very reason, they're always told, don't stay in the middle. So Sorry, I had to interrupt because it makes me angry. It makes me angry. Like, learn football. You can't say things like that.
No, yeah, it's true. But yeah, anyway, one of the comments did say that Tuchel said he felt he sent the wrong signals to the team, and he also
That's what we
said that he made 7 changes, and he felt like Tuchel said he didn't like his starting 11. So I don't know, man. I guess a lot of the blame has to go on Tuchel for today, especially the subs as well. I do agree. I think he could have kept, Mount in the front three. Personally, didn't really see a big problem with Gilmour. Don't necessarily agree with that sort of substitution. I liked Hudson-Odoi coming on. I thought that was a fresh attacking change, but again, he played awful. So obviously can't blame Tuchel for Cho's performance, but yeah, just another annoying one. Giroud, guess it made sense.
Yeah, Giroud made sense, but he didn't control the team enough to make sure that they played, that it made sense to use Giroud, because it made sense to use Giroud, but the way the rest of the team played didn't make sense with Giroud.
Yeah. So I have to give him a low rating. But I don't.
I'm very intrigued what low rating will mean for you. Come on, hit me.
See. You know what? I'll give him 4.
I would have said 2, so I suppose a 3 it is. But I'll explain it. I'll explain it again. First of all, I mean, he admitted it's himself after, but I don't really care. It doesn't really help me now, does it? Could he have kept Rudiger in the side? Maybe. I'm sure Rudiger would have been okay playing. But again, my big qualms are with the subs bench. You do not put Kante and Rudiger on the bench. I do not care who you are, what you do. There's no reason to not put someone on the bench in a home game. This is ridiculous. This is honestly crazy. You don't do that. And again, the whole message to the players, starting Kepa to prepare for the cup final. What message does that give? Gives the message, this game isn't that important. That's the message it gives. And the same goes for not putting certain players on the bench. That gives the feeling, the vibe, the message. It doesn't matter so much. That's why we're leaving these guys out, and they don't even have to turn up to the bridge, even though it's a home game. I wholeheartedly disagree with this, and I could not disagree with this more. And I'm honest. It honestly makes me angry that he did that today. And someone put it earlier in the chat. He also didn't like, but I also won't have to go at that much. I almost want to put it back to. I almost want to bring it back to people that had a go at this for Lampard. When we were losing, sat on the side, not doing anything. Well, Tuchel was doing the same thing today. Most managers end up doing that when they're shouting half the game long, and at some point they're like, I don't know what to tell these lot anymore. They're just not doing it. And then you just sat there, I'm like, what the hell? So I'm not going to put that as a fault on Tuchel, but maybe I should, because everyone did it for Lampard. But I think Tuchel got, other than the front three, he got it as much wrong as he could have done today, including the subs. Like, I mean, Hudson-Odoi really didn't work. Putting Mason Mount, taking him out of the front three really didn't work. Ziyech was too late. And, I mean, Giroud made sense, but it didn't work. So you have to say it was a wrong sub as well.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I want to, but I really can't. I mean, the only thing you said about Lampard and on the touchline and stuff, I just think with Tuchel, he is still more proactive than Lampard ever was. I think the thing with Lampard is why people were so annoyed with him, like standing there folding his arms. Everyone was like, go on, do something. Whereas, Tuchel actually made a sub at half time, which Lampard never did. He's still genuinely...
Well, he did against bloody Arsenal at least. He took Emerson off after 29 minutes that one time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in the overall picture, I do still think Tuchel is more proactive on the touchline. Like, I just think today he was like, as you said, like, what else do I do? Like, these players just aren't getting it. Like, they just aren't playing well. And I do like that he does take blame as well for himself, because Lampard never did that. He put that on the players, and that's very easy to fall out the players. So, fair play to Tuchel for being honest and saying, look, it was my fault. I didn't like my 11. I appreciate that as a fan, because it means that you still get that player connection and you won't fall out with players, like Lampard did. Lampard said, individual performances weren't bad. That leads to players guessing, is that me? Is that me? Whereas if you just nip it in the bud and say, look, I didn't like my 11. We didn't deserve to win. that's perfect because we can just move on. And hopefully that will stay in the future because, as soon as you go against the players, that's when things start getting a bit, form dips and you know what happens from there. So, I just hope that from now and how he keeps like managing the team, I think he's doing really well just to take pressure off the players. He's just more putting it on himself because I think he knows he can handle that. He's an experienced manager, so I like the way he does that in interviews.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. I think he handled it well after. Obviously, I haven't seen it yet, but what I heard, I think he did okay. And to Ali here, we made 7 changes from the Man City game, so I don't know how you're telling me it was nearly the same selection as the City game. I don't really understand. We made more changes between now and City than we did between Real Madrid and City. So I don't really understand where you're coming from with that. And I suppose the overall performance, I don't know, 2. I can't be much higher than that, can it? 3 maybe at the max.
No, I'd probably say like 1 or 2. To be honest, it's dreadful. First 10-15 minutes, second half, thought we were more lively, but yeah, there really wasn't anything. And it was hard for us because they were parking the bus, but at the same time, urgency was never there. I guess the last thing I will say as well, Laurenz, we haven't mentioned yet. What do you guys think about, and the comments can say as well, is what do you guys think about us playing without Timo Werner? Because
I wanted to get to this.
A lot of the people, and I've kind of been on the ones where I was like, oh, I don't really rate Werner, but I can kind of get their point now. The proper Werner stand, they say we don't play well without him because he makes so much space and he creates space and he drags defenders away. He does the things that you don't realise, and he's also gets a lot of assists. Like today, would he have dragged the defender out wide that could have given more space in the middle for someone else? Maybe, because our front three wasn't moving. You know what I mean? They wasn't trying to even create space. Yes, it's hard against a low block, but still you've got to try. And Werner's relentless at trying. He doesn't always succeed, but he's still relentless at trying. And also, Chelsea record when Werner hasn't started: 4 draws, 1 loss, 0 wins. So doesn't that say it all?
Wait. He didn't start against Palace.
Huh?
So he didn't start against Palace, so we had to have had a win with him. Without him.
Wait,
I know for a fact he didn't start against Palace.
Wait, you cut out a little bit.
I said Werner didn't start against Palace, so there was a win with him.
Oh, right, yeah. So maybe that's a bit wrong, but still, it's nearly right.
It's close. No, I agree with it, actually. I 100% agree. I tweeted this. Let me read it out. If people, because people know how harsh I've been on Timo Werner. I totally know that, and I totally get that. Where is it?
So I think it's just a 1 win then, I think.
Oh yeah, this type of performance is what happens almost every time Timo Werner doesn't start for Chelsea. And then I said Crystal Palace away, massive exception, of course. It's literally, it was crazy. Yeah. I honestly, and I've been starting to lean towards that in the last few weeks. Like, I'm not sure how much he would have actually done today. Obviously, we don't know. We will never know because of how low Arsenal were. Could he have done what he does against such a low block? Against the back three? I don't know. But we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Usually he does, and usually we'll play better with him. And fair dues, to be honest. He doesn't score the chances, but fair dues. And I appreciate the donation by Niche. Anybody else, if you want to make sure we touch on your comment or whatever, or you just want to support the channel, of course, do use the super chat function. It's always massively appreciated. Saying Mount's crossing was awful. He has to improve. To be honest, other than the corners, I don't really... Did he cross that much? Like, I agree. His crossing definitely does need to improve, but I can't remember. Can you remember him crossing much, Pys?
No, I think he's probably just referring to the corners, which were dreadful.
Yeah, but no, that's 100% true. In that case, Nish, you're 100% correct. And we have another super chat, actually. But Mr. Palitos Ways, Werner would have 1 chance in this match. That breakaway from Havertz, maybe. Other than that, we would have been calling for Giroud in the box. No, it's not about he would have scored us the winning goal. It's not about he would have, been... I mean, to be honest, chances are Werner would have made the decisive assist, let's be honest. But he probably wouldn't have scored the decisive goal in this game. But he would have created more space for others while that was the kind of the problem, especially in the first half. We had the ball in the back three. We had the ball with the wing backs. We had the ball with the midfield. So even in the second half, but Arsenal sat so deep, and then they gave us this gap between their midfield and the defense of where our front three ran around. And whenever we tried to play there, they kind of closed that gap. And then all of our front three were always surrounded by like 5, 6, 7 people at the same time. Didn't matter who you were. And how do you stop that? You make runs and you drag them. You drag them out of positions. And who do we have on the pitch today? Havertz wants to get in the ball. Pulisic wants to get play proper front three, kind of half drops all the time. The only guy that makes those runs is Werner. And I'm sure Callum Hudson was probably brought on to half do that, but didn't. The only other guy I saw doing these types of runs today was Ben Chilwell. He was the only guy that tried doing those, which is why I wasn't sure whether we should give him actually a full rating below Reece, because he tried those. He was very few times anyone tried to find him. Jorginho had the option once. No, actually, Thiago Silva it was. Thiago Silva had the option once for a really good run, and then 2 or 3 other times later in the game, Thiago tried them and it didn't quite come off. But Werner is also awful off the bench, so bringing him on probably wouldn't have done anything. At least judging by that Leeds game, when that was his worst performance for Chelsea, in my opinion, when he didn't even not do anything, but also didn't even look bothered. But I mean, fair play to Timo, but at the same time, and I wanna try to end this on a positive note here. 2 positives to look at. First of all, again, the whole, what's the word? It's not superstition, right? In terms of 2012. If we win the Champions League, if we win the FA Cup on Saturday, and if we win the Champions League, none of us will give a flying F about having lost that game today. So, you know what I mean? None of us. Did we actually give an overall rating in the end? I don't think we did yet. Let's get to that in a minute. None of us will care. And if lose today helped that, fair enough. And like Tuchel said after the game, as I read, maybe this was our last wake-up call. Maybe we needed to make sure we get one last wake-up call to not take Leicester too lightly in the cup final. We would have never taken Man City too lightly, but maybe to not take Leicester too lightly, maybe to not take Leicester in the league too lightly, maybe to not take Aston Villa too lightly. My only problem I really have with this today is because we didn't win tonight, we need to win at Villa when they have fans back for the first time, and that would be difficult.
Well, we need to win one more if United beat Liverpool tomorrow. So let's hope they do that. Well,
okay. Let's hope United beat Liverpool and then we just beat Leicester twice in 3 days. That'd be good. But just an overall rating.
We have the fans, don't we, for Leicester at home? So hopefully that'll help. 8,000. So that should give players a kick up the arse they need, because if they play like tonight, mate, they'll be they won't be accepting that, the fans there. So
no, 100%. Actually, I wanted to go back. That's why I kind of stopped and never did this. Let me go back if I can find it, because someone put some stats here. And if you deep it, we had. I will get it up in a minute. Where was the comment? I saw who it was, but 100. It seems to have been a minute ago. The last comment. It doesn't seem to be that long ago. Anyways, we had okay, let me just get the stats on my phone. We had 68% of the ball. We had 16 chances created. We had 5 shots on target, 19 shots overall, 5 of which were blocked, 9 of which were off target. We hit the bar once. Well, we hit the bar twice because obviously Zouma's and then Giroud's rebound. Our expected goals was 1.67. Arsenal's expected goals was 0.58. If we played the exact same performance and Havertz just scores this chance and then we finish 1-0 with everything else the same, none of us complain. It's just because obviously the goal was so stupid to concede that I think we all got so angry.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about the result.
I'm thinking because if you take an average of the ratings, it's probably more like a 5 of the ratings we gave. If you took an average from it, maybe we should. What you said overall rating 1 or 2, didn't you? But if you deep it, would you actually think that, or would you say maybe it's like a 3 or 4? Because we lost, but we were still significantly the better team. And then he had a great block from Mount in the first half. Leno made 2 or 3 very good saves. And we had 1 mistake and paid for it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't super. We were definitely better today than we were against West Brom. Obviously, against West Brom, we had the excuse of the red card. But in terms of actual performance, it was certainly better today than against West Brom.
I'll push it to a 3, but not any higher than that.
Fair dues. A 3 it is then. A 3 it is. And like Ali said, Abel Barak told the Muslims, big ups to yourselves. I know you had a tough month behind you. I don't know if that was maybe part of the reason why Kante and Rudiger got off, because obviously celebrate. I hope not. I would firmly hope.
He's also Muslim, so I don't
know.
Yeah,
so that kind of puts that out of the window, I suppose. But
and Zouma is as well.
Zouma is as well. I mean, I don't know if Zouma does Ramadan. I know for a fact that Ziyech does. So I don't know if Zouma does because, yeah, that I don't really have much to add to that. To be totally honest with you, but yeah, Abel Barak told of these guys. But after to what I said, to try to paint a positive picture, can you align yourself with that, or is it just negative tonight for you?
It's just negative. I need a few days to get over this. Yeah. Thing is, I want to be positive, and I do feel slightly positive because we have been so good under Tuchel. But in terms of the feeling tonight, it's just really negative and down, and I just try and lift people up, but it's hard to even lift myself up. You know, I feel like I'm trying to lift other people up when myself is really down because of the performance. So I don't know. Maybe we just. Well, not maybe. We go and win this FA Cup, and then we celebrate and we forget about this. So, yeah, let's do that, hopefully.
100%, 100%. And hey, like I said, the last time we lost to West Brom, we went on some run in terms of big game results after that. So if we can just do that again, I don't think many of us will be complaining by the end of the season. And think about it. How many games do we have left? Leicester twice, Aston Villa, Manchester City. We have 4 games left this season. 4. Hey, we can certainly make that happen, guys. We can certainly get 4 dubs in the next 4 games. And what a season we would have had if we get 4 dubs in the next 4 games. What a dub. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a tough day. If you're a Chelsea fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, you've had a great time. But also, are you happy with yourself? You're literally playing like you took the piss out of us for years, saying that's why we're a small club. That's how you're playing now. So hope you're happy. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. For some reason, the views didn't go quite as high as I expected today. But hey, it is what it is. Everybody has tuned in. I appreciate it a lot. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. Let's get ever closer to that big 10,000 subscribers. We're only like 120, 110, whatever away at this point. So make sure you subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. Smash the like button. Become a member if you fancy that as well. There's a link in the description if you're on your phone, or a join button underneath if you're on desktop. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, upwards and onwards. Let's go and turn this around on Saturday, and I'll see you next time.